the baseball diamond. And 3 is the way this aircraft came in. It looks like he did a really good job. The damage is extensive, but it appears the injuries are moderate at the worst. It doesn't appear that the person that downed his injuries were serious. We'll be able to tell more when we see the type of treatment that he gets, but 2 of the people on board, all 3 appeared to be men, were able to walk away from the aircraft out towards the baseball diamond and get away from it quickly, just in case it would have caught fire.
Well, Scott, despite the look of the plane, it actually is good piloting that he was able to find an open space like that.
It certainly is. You know, he was headed for Fullerton Airport, and this location is probably about 3.5 miles due east of Fullerton Airport, right on the final. So he was headed that direction. I believe that was probably his intended destination. I'm not certain of that, but that certainly appears to be the case. 2 of the, I believe the man on the phone in the blue shirt and the other man on the right side in the jacket, the greenish colored jacket, were the 2 other people on board the airplane. And then, of course, the patient being treated was the 3rd. And depending on the type of treatment they give that individual, we'll be able to tell a little bit of the extensive nature of his injuries. But there are a lot of positives in this crash. It could have been much worse. If it would have been pitch black out here, the airplane could have came down on one of the homes in the area. And if it would have been the middle of the day, he could have been forced into an area where possibly there may have been students out on the field.
Well, you were saying that he was headed for the airport there, but how close was he to making it?
About 3 miles out. He's about 3 miles, just a little over 3 miles, right off the extended center line, due west of my location from Fullerton Airport. So it doesn't look like he was too far from actually making the runway itself.
Well, as I'm sure you've probably flown in that area a lot, you've flown a plane like that, you know that airport. My question would be, as you fly through there, do you also know this Troy High School? You know there's a field there? I mean, could this pilot have thought, okay, if I don't make it, I'm going to go to the high school or Cal State Fullerton there, and I'm going to have something? I mean, do you know that area well enough, having flown in there, that you know where to go not to hit a house?
I guess that all depends on the experience level in this area of that pilot. If he was en route to Fullerton Airport and he knew this area, then he knew that there are several baseball fields around this location. As I look out, there are several schools here. Cal State Fullerton, there's another high school to the south of me, and then several to the west. So he had a lot of options. Whether or not he actually knew this was the best place to go or not, you know, we don't know at this time. But if he knew the area, he obviously knew this was a good place to be. The best thing that he had going for him was that there was enough light for him to actually find one of these fields to land in, because another 30 minutes earlier it would have been pitch black and it would have been very difficult to tell if this was a parking lot of some type or exactly what it was you were going for. As a pilot, that would be a very tough decision.
Scott, since you were there moments after this crash occurred, can you show us the video that what you saw when you first arrived at the scene? You
know, Ellen, I don't think that we can at this time. There we go. Actually, we do have it. So they have rolled that back. You can see this is just moments after the crash. You have that man on the right side, and then you have, I believe, another man on the left side. The individual that was, there we go. We got another person coming out, and I believe those were the 2 that we showed you moments ago, and the 3rd person had already, the person with the most severe injuries had already gotten away from the aircraft. We're not certain if he got away.
Or are they trying to help him there in that video? It looks like he's reaching under.
Yeah, if I remember when we just first came up on scene, as I look at this, you can see how much darker
that's their bags.
Yeah, how much darker it is then. I believe that the crash had occurred. They'd already gotten away from the aircraft. Then they had come back to get their stuff, and now they're going back towards the person, the 3rd person that was injured the worst in this accident. So he was able to get away quickly immediately after the crash. There was no fire. Looks like they went back to get their belongings, and they were able to get over to the right side there, where we go back to the live shot, and the one person that was injured the worst in this accident.
Well, if there's any indicator, you don't like to speculate on the extent of someone's injuries, but going back to get your bags sure makes me think that they felt like their friend was at least okay, to the point where they could pull their belongings out of there. And yeah, that is good. Scott, we also saw it looked like the landing lights were still on that plane. So could that indicate anything?
Well, the landing lights were on. They were on for some time. I believe that someone may have gone in there and turned the power off. That's one of the things you do if you're able to as a pilot, is try and get the power to the aircraft shut off so that no sparks occur and then a fire. It looks like the accident itself could have been violent enough and disrupted the pilot so much that all he wanted to do was get out of the aircraft after the impact. But the lights were on the airplane, so I'm sure both landing lights were on high as he tried to make that approach and landing, that crash landing here to this baseball diamond. If we see, there's the ambulance just now arriving on scene, so they'll be able to transport that patient to a hospital for further care. The other two men on board appear to be fine, but once again, what happens in these types of situations with whiplash and impact, spine injuries and things of that nature, sometimes it can take just a little bit before you realize how severe your injuries are. So obviously they are going to be very sore, and they'll be evaluated very thoroughly by the paramedics who are arriving.
And Scott, we're getting information from Fullerton Fire. They're saying that the man on the ground laying on his stomach has facial and leg injuries. One of the other men has a minor arm injury, and then no injury to the third man that we are seeing.
What we'd like to do now, since it's 6:13 and we've been with this for a few moments, let's just, if we can, Scott, for the folks that may be just waking up, just joining us, just coming to the television, for the folks that have been with us, bear with us on this. We want to reset what exactly happened. You said just before 6 o'clock, you received a call on this that someone was losing oil pressure. We're just going to let everybody know what happened one more time, and then we're going to head on to weather. Could you just do that for us real quick?
Certainly will. That is correct. Just before 6 o'clock this morning on our air-to-air frequency, we heard an emergency call go out from this Cessna Cardinal saying that he had lost oil pressure and wondered if we could come and assist him, thinking that he was going to make Fullerton Airport. I lost communication with the aircraft, trying to find out a few more details. Then I heard a response from him that he was going down in this vicinity. We came here, we found the aircraft right as it crashed. Just moments afterwards, we relayed that to police and fire, who responded quickly for assistance. Fortunately, it appears that the injury in this case are minor to moderate, and a very good job by the pilot to get this aircraft down into an area where it did not cause any further injury to anyone else or much property damage. So it could have been a lot worse. It looks like this plane made a crash landing, but everyone eventually here is going to be okay. Reporting live from Air 7 over the Fullerton area, I'm Scott Reif, ABC 7 Eyewitness News. Philip and Ellen, back to you in the studio.
Okay, Scott, thank you very much. We did want to just for our own well-being, we don't want to just make you work that much longer. We wanted to see the guy actually get in the ambulance, just, I guess, for a little bit of closure on our part. We know he's in good hands at this point. We know he's going to be safe. I just think back to something you said a moment ago about a person that, is laying on the ground even though they were able to escape the plane. Adrenaline is an amazing thing in a situation like that.
Oh, it certainly is, and the good thing about adrenaline in a lot of cases, it blocks the pain, and that's why I said to you earlier, in a lot of these types of situations, I've talked to guys who've been in very bad crashes before, initially, your body just doesn't react to all of that pain and the injuries you have sustained, especially like in that horrible Metrolink crash that we had. Some of the people who originally got out probably didn't think that they were hurt too bad, but then as time wears on and the adrenaline goes down and you come out of the state of shock that you're in from what has happened to you, you start to realize the things that ache on your body. You start to realize things you didn't notice at first.